Hello everybody, Kyle here. I'm going to review the first 3 episodes of Andor that just dropped on Disney Plus today. I was a little bit hesitant with this series just because I've been getting a little bit tired of the Rebellion era, the Galactic Empire era of Star Wars. We have gotten a number of shows and movies that have dealt with it ever since Disney acquired Lucasfilm, and I think that with stories like the High Republic and the Old Republic, there are more stories that you can tell in the past, and there are more stories that you can even tell in the future. So I would like to see more Star Wars stories explore the future or the past, and more so like the High Republic or Old Republic eras. But that being said, I do enjoy the Rebellion era, and I do enjoy films like Rogue One. I love Solo and shows like Star Wars Rebels, and even shows like The Bad Batch. But going into Andor, I wasn't as interested in the series. I know a lot of people were interested in Andor. I would say my interest in Andor lied specifically in the showrunners and the writers of the show, being Tony Gilroy and a number of other writers from shows like Succession and The Americans, and a number of great television out there that I think we have been lacking in Disney Plus content lately. So what did I think of the first 3 episodes of Andor? It's a little bit hard to say because the first 2 episodes of Andor didn't quite click with me. I found the first 2 episodes of Andor to be slow and not in a good way, because I found that the way they were, given that the episodes themselves weren't that long, like they were about 30 minutes each, it still felt way too long. It felt like the pacing was a little bit too slow, and I thought that they were introducing too many characters for me to really get attached to one or the other. And I was a little bit disappointed in the first 2 episodes because going into the show, I heard a lot of reviews saying this is the show that will make you love Star Wars again. This is the show that is going to bring Star Wars back into the public eye and get even more people on board. And it's really like an HBO version of a Disney Plus show. And I kind of laughed at that because I said to myself, by you saying it's an HBO show, you're just saying it's a good show. But, the 3rd episode of Andor is where everything really started to click, and it actually made me appreciate those first 2 episodes even more. The show itself deals with Cassian Andor, who we met in Rogue One, and he is this man that is not the best guy. He is a bit of a shady figure. He also kind of has his own self-interests. But in this 3-episode arc, we were introduced to his past. And it was told through a series of flashbacks where he had a sister and they got separated, and we don't know where the sister is now. And it all revolved around him finding this ship that had crashed on his planet. And I was at first, in the first 2 episodes, saying, why aren't they just, telling this flashback sequence in 1 episode? Why is this going on multiple episodes? And then the 3rd episode comes around, and you realize and you start to learn more about this flashback sequence and how it ties to the present day. And that is when it really clicked for me, because then I started to see why and how he was separated from his sister, how that's going to drive his story going forward. But the present story is mainly about him finding this device that the Imperials will want, and that in order for him to get money for this device, he has to deal with this character played by Stellan Skarsgård, who then we learn has his own intentions. And at the same time, these, not necessarily Imperials, but security forces are after Andor because he killed someone in the first episode of the show. And because of this, it begins this conflict that I will predict will go into the rest of the series. And the characters, I'm not too sure of their names yet, but the male officer that is really seems to be the antagonist, he's an interesting character to me because he doesn't necessarily come across as, you know, evil like a Palpatine or a Tarkin. He seems to have his own reasons and motivations for why he is the way he is, and I like that. I think that he may have a lot more depth to be explored. I also like Cassian's on and off again girlfriend, according to the reports and the articles I've read. Bix, played by Adria Arjona, she's great. I actually loved Adria Arjona in Morbius, and I think that she is a fabulous actress, so I think that she's going to add a whole lot to this show. There's a lot more intimacy in this show. There's more grittiness to this show that's really good. But what really, besides the flashback that really clicked for me in episode 3, was the tension that started to really build in episode 3, and is when the security forces are closing in on Cassian and his town. And that was so well directed, so well written, and it really, I think, set it apart from many of the other Star Wars shows that we've seen so far, where even a show like Obi-Wan Kenobi that had a sequence where Darth Vader infiltrated a town and was kind of walking through it like a monster, essentially. This show has a scene, but I thought this scene was far better written. It definitely had me sitting at the edge of my seat wondering what's going to happen next, and it really, I think, brought a lot more excitement to the show that I think the first 2 episodes needed, that I wasn't getting from them. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the show goes. Right now, I think the writing is definitely far better than other Disney Plus shows, even the Marvel shows at the moment. I think that they really are, I think, taking their time with the storyline, but at the same time also having enough time to build up these characters, and that is what I think a lot of these Disney Plus shows have struggled with their 6-episode seasons. They don't have enough time to fully flesh out the characters. With a 12-episode season that Andor has, I think they will have that time. So I think that hopefully this show explores more of like the grittiness, more of this corruption in the Star Wars universe during this time period. And I'm also looking forward to learning more about Cassian and his sister, whatever happened to her, and other of his friends, because I see that they killed some characters in this episode, so we won't see some later on. And I think they are starting to narrow and focus in on the characters, especially at the end of episode 3, especially Stellan Skarsgård's character, who looks very interesting. So yeah, I think I enjoyed episode 3 of Andor, but I think that it was a bit of a rough start, but I'm just hoping that it gets better from here on. So thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts on Andor are, and take care. Have a great day, guys. Bye.